Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comet Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at IDW's TMNT 2011 Volume 6 City Fall Part 1. And this is a two-part story, pretty much, and it covers in the span of, I think, like 8 issues. But this Volume 6 basically covers the first half of City Fall, and it's a really good and interesting story. So without further ado, let's jump right to today's story. Let's go. So this story starts off with the Turtles basically facing off against a masked opponent. And this masked opponent is very skilled at using different types of fighting styles. And for this first issue in this story arc, we get to see that this masked fighter basically is taking out the Turtles at every turn when they keep fighting each other. And eventually the masked figure reveals himself to actually be Master Splinter. And it's pretty interesting. Now, one thing I do want to mention, as you can see on the screen, is that Kevin Eastman actually did the artwork for this issue, and I just absolutely loved it. And it makes me kind of wish that we could get a full-on story arc, drawn and written by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird again. And, this just shows, like, they still have it. At least, Kevin Eastman does. I'm not sure what Peter Laird is doing at this moment when the story was made. But Kevin Eastman is just knocking out of the park with this issue, and I really do miss him on the book, or series, I guess you could say. Now we get to see that Shredder and his people actually get a scientist to help them find, I guess it's supposed to be like his wife, or maybe someone that was able to rule during Splinter's and Shredder's time, named Kitsune. And yeah, they're basically bringing her back to life. And City Fall begins with Shredder basically telling her that they need to embrace our destiny, or embrace their destiny, and they basically overlook New York City, so City Fall is about to begin. Now we get to see that Raphael and Casey Jones are out hanging out in the town, and they actually get ambushed by the Foot Clan, and they basically knock Casey out and kidnap him. They're about to kidnap Raphael as well, but he's able to make an escape. And Karai basically says to let Raphael go to one of the foot soldiers, saying that they have what they need for their plan to, go forward. And yeah, it's a really cool action scene that we get to see with Raphael. Now, Raphael goes back to his brothers and father and basically tells them in April that Casey has been kidnapped by the Foot. Now, Raphael wants to go right after them, and Leonardo's trying to telling him they need to chill out. They have to come up with a plan before they go to try to rescue Casey. But Raphael is rightfully, kind of scared that they're going to kill Casey Jones. So Splinter basically breaks up the fight between Leonardo and Raphael, basically tells them that no matter what, they're going to go in with a plan, and they're not going to let Casey Jones get killed. That, no matter what, they're going to try their best to get his friend back, which is really cool. Now, while the Turtles are going to save Casey Jones, they basically tell April to stay in the car, and this is where Angel actually shows up and gets the information from April about Casey Jones being in danger, and she goes off to help the Turtles save Casey. Now, Shredder does something really interesting because him, Karai, and Alopets, which I believe is the name of that wolf dog creature that wears that blue mask, face mask, and yeah, so Shredder basically uses Casey Jones as bait, and he does this really messed up thing where he actually stabs Casey Jones fatally, and basically telling them that they need to hurry or he's gonna die, to come out basically from hiding. And Raphael basically loses it and goes in to fight Karai, Shredder, Alopets, and the Foot basically come out, and they begin their battle with the Turtles and Splinter. So this battle goes on, and eventually we get to see that Splinter is trying to reel back Raphael to make sure he doesn't do something, stupid, get himself killed by Shredder and that. And while they're making their escape, Leonardo gets hit by one of the Foot, or I think it's Karai who hits him with a type of I don't know what you would call that. It's kind of like a bow, a crossbow, I think is what they're called, and basically knocks him out. And they have their foot ninjas basically grab Leonardo and they basically capture him, which was the plan of the Shredder in the last volume, if you remember. Now, the turtles don't realize that Leonardo hasn't made his way back, but they have to hurry and get Casey Jones to the hospital before he, basically dies or succumbs to his wounds that the Shredder basically, gave him those fatal wounds. And Karai and Illipets wonder, if their services are still needed, but Shredder basically tells them that they're both dismissed. That now it's time for the professionals to take in their skills and make the plan move forward. And this is where we get to see that Kitsune is basically going to work on Leonardo, and Casey Jones is being worked on by the medical staff at a local hospital. And yeah, it's really cool how this is kind of symbolic that two themes are happening parallel to one another, and really cool stuff. And we get to see that Hobbs basically tells the turtles, and Splinter leaves a message saying that he knows exactly where Leonardo is at with the Foot, Shredder, Karai, and Illipets, as well as Kitsune. So Splinter kind of weighs his options and realizes, even with his son telling him that there's no way he can trust, Hobbs, especially Raphael saying there's no way he can trust Hobbs, Splinter has no choice but to tell the turtles to come with them, and they're going to have to talk to Hobbs to make a deal to get Leonardo back. Now, while they're doing all that, we get to see that Kitsune is basically kind of like mind warping Leonardo, kind of like trying to brainwash him into becoming their soldier, and it has some pretty horrific imagery. Not like very scary imagery, but enough for kids to find it a little creepy, and I thought it was really cool. We also get a really good development scene where Casey Jones actually is saved by the medical staff, and he's going to be okay, but he's never going to be able to play hockey again, apparently. And his father actually shows up to, see his son, and he overhears Angel and April talking about how he doesn't deserve to, be here for Casey after how he's acted and, been to him for a long time. And he basically leaves after hearing that, kind of showing that he was kind of hurt by that comment by Angel, but, it was something he needed to hear, and hopefully, as I was hoping when he was first introduced in the first volume, that he's going to get a development arc, and become a better person, become a better father. So I'm really hoping that happens in the next volume, and we get to see him get a relationship with Casey and just become a better person. I would like to see that, in a future volume, as I said before in previous volumes. Heading towards the climax of this book, we get to see that Hobbs and Slash basically are there, and the turtles are surprised to see that Slash is still alive, and they basically hear old Hob out, and we get to find out that he's preparing for a war that he feels is coming to New York City. So while they're talking, we get to see that Kitsune, wearing some type of like wolf mask, Japanese wolf mask, basically wakes up Leonardo after his brainwashing, and is holding like a black bandana, which I guess was the one that Slash had made or something like that. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I mean, I think Slash is still wearing his, so I don't know where they got this bandana. Probably just made it out of one of the foots that they wear, but the bandanas that they wear. But yeah, so we jump to Casey, and he basically wakes up and he realizes that something is wrong, and he asks April and Angel what happened, and they're basically going to try filling him in about what's happening with the turtles and with Leonardo being captured and kidnapped. But he can't really do nothing because he basically just had surgery. So Casey Jones is going to be out of the story and scenes for a while, at least for the rest of this story arc. I don't expect to see him a lot in City Fall Part 2, which will be the next volume, Volume 7. But yeah, so we get to see a relationship between Michelangelo and Slash, and I thought that was really interesting, with him showing him what candy is. And Old Hob basically, like I said, is basically telling them that they need to get ready for a war that is coming. They basically tell him that they will think about this decision, especially Splinter saying he'll think about the decision to join him in this new war that's going to be coming to the city if he shows them where his son's at. So Old Hob leads them to some warehouse and basically lures them inside and then locks them in. This will get explained in a little bit on why Old Hob did this. But Splinter shows up with all his kids, and they basically are confronted to the Shredder, Karai, and Allopets. And Splinter basically is kind of coerced into fighting Shredder by, him teasing him, making him think that he killed, Leonardo. And whenever Splinter goes in for the kill. He's like straight up like angry with Shredder. He's gonna go for a killing blow. He's blocked by Leonardo sporting some foot gear, wear, and basically wearing a black bandana. And he basically says, "I will not allow you to harm my master." So he has been fully brainwashed. And he basically attacks Splinter when he asks, that why is he acting this way, basically. And he straight up, Leonardo basically tells Splinter that he's not his son. He even calls him a rodent, which is like messed up. And the turtles basically take on their brother, but they're not really trying. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. They're holding back because this is their brother. They know that he's brainwashed and stuff. This isn't him. So they're basically, fighting it out and getting defeated by him. And Raphael basically gets angry and says that, that he'll give him rough. Basically, I'll give you rough. And this is where we get to see that Leonardo's using some type of like claw, device. Basically, he's using a claw weapon as well to counteract, I guess, Raphael's attacks. And Raphael gets headbutted by Leonardo, basically defeated. And Leonardo is going to land a killing blow on Splinter, but is told not to by Shredder. The Cry basically saying, "Why did you let the rat live?" And Shredder basically says that the rat is mine. So he's going to, kill him himself. Basically, he's not going to let Leonardo be the one to do it. He has to do it himself. And a huge battle breaks out between the Foot and Shredder, Cry, Alapets, and the Turtles and Splinter. And Slash, saves them. Basically, just they had no way out. They were going to have to figure out some way to get out of the situation because they're just outnumbered and they're not going to be able to take down their brother. So they have to find a way to, get the brainwashing off of him. And yeah, so Slash comes in and saves the day, basically, and they make their escape. And Splinter basically has to leave Leonardo, as the Turtles basically tell him they need to leave now, so they don't get completely overwhelmed by the Foot. Now, Old Hob basically is confronted by the Turtles, and Splinter, especially Raphael, is saying, why exactly did he sell them out and lead them into a trap? And this is where Old Hob explains that he did this so that Shredder won't think that he is working with the Turtles, and this can work better for their plan in the upcoming war that's going to happen in the city if he doesn't know that they're working together. Showing how smart Old Hob is. And Old Hob is just a really good character. I don't think Old Hob was a character before this series, but he really fits this universe, the Turtle universe, and I really enjoy his character. And I hope you comment down below, what is your thoughts on this character? Because for a Turtle fan like myself, I really enjoy this new character, and I think he's new. I think he was only debuted in this series, but I really like his character. And eventually, Old Hob makes a joke about Leonardo basically finding himself a new daddy. And the issue, not the issue, but the volume ends with Donatello basically saying, "Not now." And he basically just says that, this is not like a good time because Splinter's basically just mourning the loss of his son, basically. There's no guarantee they'll be able to unbrainwash Leonardo. And the enemy basically took his son, which is like messed up, and turned him, against them, against his own family, his brothers and his father, pretty messed up. And that's how the volume ends. And yeah, that was, IDW's TMNT 2011 Volume 6 City Fall Part 1. What a great volume, guys. I can't wait to read Part 2. I thought it was just really good. I wasn't expecting Leonardo to get brainwashed. I thought he was going to kind of have a battle with the Shredder and basically tell him that he's not going to become his, soldier, basically. But this was a really good plot twist to have a whole brainwashing plot point. And hopefully we get to see something happen really good in the next volume. And yeah, overall, there's not that much to talk about that hasn't been said in this video. As always, I will have the link in the description down below to go check out the volume on Comicsology to go support it legally. And yeah, it's a really good book. And this series has just been really great, and I can't wait to keep continuing these videos because they're fun to make, and the series is just fun to read. But that's going to be all, guys. Until the next video, if you haven't already, go check out my other video retrospectives of different comic book runs. I have many more that are planned for the future. This channel is just going to keep growing. I just reached my first 100 subscribers, and hopefully we continue to grow the channel and overall just talk comments in the comment sections and just make a good comic fan base, a good comic community, non-toxic one where we can talk about our love of all things comics. But until next video, guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comics.